Hello and welcome to this new analysis with you, Amin Amor. I'm going to talk today about the match of Liverpool against Cardiff City. To be honest, I'm going to focus more on Liverpool, on their animation, how their animation changed from the first half to the second half, and how that helped them to break the block of Cardiff City that was resisting, because at the first half we've seen a statistic 85% of possession for Liverpool against 50% of Cardiff City. That doesn't mean that Cardiff City wasn't dangerous at some moment of the match because of the animation of Liverpool. That's what we're going to focus on. And on the second half, we're going to focus on the shape of Liverpool, how it changed, how their animation, how the variations inside those animations helped really Liverpool to have the power in this match and to have the superiority and to finish the match with 4-1. So we're going to talk about the shape of Liverpool, a flexible 4-2-3-1, a flexible one. Why? Because sometimes it's changed to 4-4-2 with this freedom of Lallana, and sometimes it was more about 4-3-3 because of the variations and many other things. But in fact, yeah, they will say it's a 4-2-3-1, but we've seen a lot of variations. So here the shape of Liverpool with Ederson, with here Lovren, Van der, Alberto, Arnold, Fabinho, that was very important, Wijnaldum also, Lallana, and the three up front, of course, Salah, Mane, and Firmino. So the animation that we're going to focus on, what was doing Liverpool in the first half, how we changed that on the second half. On the first half, what was Liverpool? There was the strength and the weakness. I would say that was a 4-4 on each side. A symmetric 4-4, I would call it. Why? Because what we've seen in the animation of Liverpool, let's say now we're going to focus on Liverpool. Here, Lallana was very high here in the left. Mane was coming here with Firmino on the other side, now on the other side. So we have a left back that was very high, with here the Wijnaldum over here. So we have four on this on each side, and the right back that was not that high. I've noticed on my notes it was high. He was high, but he wasn't that high. He was here. He was making a progressive overlap with Fabinho that wasn't that high actually to control the counter from Cardiff. We're gonna focus on this point. This is very important, and those two, of course. So this shape against the shape of 4-4-1-1 of Cardiff City. So I would say that this shape, how it was animated. Now we've seen you have here Mane. You have here Mane. You have here the freedom of Lallana. They was trying to make some chaos over here with the Firmino's, with here Salah that was entering to be to be a striker, and he scored the goal. Okay, and he went from the right to the left. Okay, no problem. But what I want to focus on is that Mane and Wijnaldum was trying to a little bit break those four to make them getting out of their position. So we've seen that Liverpool created a lot of with this animation created a lot of variations, a lot of things. We've seen sometimes when they lose the ball, when they had to come back with the defenders. Fabinho came here up here to make far as he's possible to make far the other number 10, I would call him. And we've seen that Lovren had the ball, and especially Van der here to have a more control over the pitch. What was the strength? What was the weakness? The strength is that we can combine, we can create a lot of variations over here, as you can see, with this unpredictability of Mane getting in from far, with Firmino always trying to be on the left and on the right, with Salah, with this high position of Lallana that was coming back. So what was the strength? The strength actually was that Liverpool made a symmetric 4-4 on each side. So at the end, when they lose the ball, they had the superiority. Because when they lose the ball, we know that Liverpool is the best team in the transitions, in the counter pressing, one of the best teams in Europe in counter pressing, if not the best. So Liverpool had quickly the ball, but sometimes the weakness of it is that you have your right back that is very high. Your right back is very high, and you have here sometimes two players with a free player from Cardiff City ready to join and ready to make the chaos in the defense of Liverpool. The right back is very far, and your left back is very high. I would say the right back was very high and the left back was very far. There is a difference because, as you can see, he was almost here he was in the other side, occupying the right back, making him in the box and making this right midfielder come back. So he was very high and the other is very far. So sometimes Cardiff had some chances with some long balls, and it created, and we've seen the limit of it. In my point of view, Liverpool had to play with three at the back in the build-up. I'm not talking about a shape of 3-4-2-1 or 3-5-2 or whatever. No, I'm talking about shape of three players at the back to control the counter-attack with Arnold maybe waiting. That's what they do they have done in the second half. That was while noting one of my notes, actually, because 85% of possession, but you have 50%, and what they can do of this 15% of Cardiff, 15%, what they can do, they can hurt you because you are very high. In the counter pressing, as you can see, 85% at the end. So they recover a lot of balls. They created chances, but sometimes they failed to let's say their position game was a little bit. Sometimes Cardiff managed to control it, sometimes not. But in the second half, it was mission impossible. Why? So I will talk why. Because they started with the shape of three. As you can see here, the shape of three. Fabinho very high, with Wijnaldum over here. Lallana also was having his freedom as always with Mane. The left back was high. So this symmetry, we've lost this symmetry a little bit. Salah was joining in. He wants to score. That's his right. But we've seen that the number 10 now was with Fabinho, and he was very high. So sometimes they were three over here. Fabinho managed well to push away their number 10. That's a very good point in the build-up of Liverpool. And how now Liverpool, I would say that it was a smooth change, because the first one that was trying to make some troubles in the pocket between those three, it was Mane, it wasn't Firmino. But after a good, very, I couldn't say really extraordinary the job of Firmino. In phrasing those three in the middle, Firmino came out, allowing Firmino occupy those three, allowing Lallana to have some free space with Salah here as a striker, and always the danger of Mane. We call him. They make the strategy of the third player, and of course Wijnaldum. So this Firmino that was here. Once Firmino came here between the defensive line and the midfield side, those three in the middle of Cardiff, they didn't know what to do. The proof is that we didn't see that much of counter of Cardiff City. Yeah, they scored, but Firmino was already out when they scored, and we didn't see that much danger of Cardiff City. and he allowed actually the defenders to have more time on the ball. He allowed Fabinho, those players, Wijnaldum, to have more freedom around, and whether to to come back here or to join inside, because it was unpredictability of the players. We don't know what they will do. Will they pass to Firmino? Will they play it out? Will they play it between those players? We didn't know what they would do. The proof is another time when Firmino got out and went out. Sorry, and Milner entered in. This job that was doing Firmino, we had to employ now 3 to 2 players to do it. That were Shaqiri, Wijnaldum, and sometimes from time to time Milner. 3 players doing the job of 1 player between the lines. 3 players that are trying to do some combined play, some position game, to coordinate some movements. They are trying to do now the job of only 1 player. So Firmino heard that much. That's why Liverpool had a lot of chances and they scored 3 goals on the second half. So yeah, that's all for me. And this is how Liverpool changed actually their shape, and this is how Liverpool, this changed actually for me. Going to 3 at the back at the beginning, playing Firmino between the lines, allowed to phrase the 3, and allowed to have more time on the ball, allowed the position to have more purposes, allowed Liverpool to make those differences, allowed Salah sometimes to make the difference between 2-3 players, because there was so much unpredictability. And of course the style of Liverpool of having back the ball. I remember the commitment of Shaqiri at the 91st minute, losing the ball, pressing, going make those runs. This is the philosophy of Liverpool, the commitment of the players, and that was all for me for this match. I know I didn't talk that much of Cardiff City, but when you talk about 85% of possession, you have to know why Liverpool did this, how they controlled, when they make those changes, and I hope that this was good for you. It was with you, Amin Amor. Thank you very much.